Welcome to BlackUSA.News Morning Show. I'm your host, William Honolulu Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real. Good morning and greetings and salutations to all of my people out there in internet land. I am William Honolulu Jr., and I have the honor of being the host of the BlackUSA.News Morning Show, where we bring you the news, and we recognize that a lot of the news has a racial impact that a lot of other people aren't talking about. Today, we are going to have a conversation with one of my really good friends and civic engagement professionals, Jabari Natur. He is the leader of Solvivaz Nation, LLC. I'll tell you a little bit more about them in a second. But you know how we do. Let's talk about what happened on Friday. Friday's show was amazing. We had a chance to talk to the Reverend Kobe Little of the Baltimore City branch of the NAACP. And we got an opportunity to really dig deep into the impact that COVID is having on the African-American community and the disproportionate burden that the African-American community has taken in the way that this disease has manifested throughout our country. We also talked a lot about how COVID, or what organizations like the NAACP have done to address COVID in their communities. They've done a lot of activity with the local health departments, a lot of activity with some of the government and private partners. One of the things that the Reverend said was that it's really important that as we are having these conversations, that we are also making sure that equity is at the table, or especially, well, let me rephrase that. People with experience in equity issues and managing equity opportunities, they should be, good morning, Rico. They should be part of the conversation. Because what has happened in the past is that a lot of these organizations that have received funding and have been able to do all of these things or wanted to do these things for communities, they haven't had an equity lens. And so as these processes are brought into place, they didn't even reflect what's actually happening in the community. It still became more of the same. So that was a great show. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about getting money. There are a lot of opportunities that present themselves even in the midst of tragedy and trauma. And so we're going to talk about how you can prepare your business, yourself personally, to get access to capital and get some money, and so that you can make some more money. Let's see. Oh, yeah, everything. Letting you know about everything. All the events that we're having soon. Again, shameless self-promotion. My company, The Grinding Gang, we're hosting a free virtual business planning workshop tomorrow night, actually at 6 p.m. I'm going to drop the registration link into the chat. See, you know, I gotta look around some things sometimes. So here you go. Put that up here. So that's the link. You could just go to grindinggang.com. You don't have to get that really long link, but you can also. Good morning, Tampa. You can also just visit grindinggang.com and you will be able to get registered, and it's absolutely free tomorrow night from 6 to 7. Also, it's important to know that BlackUSA.News has partnered with media and business firms from New York, DC, and Baltimore to bring you the Great Business Pitch Challenge. And we are starting the year off January 1st, 2022 from 10 a.m. to noon. We're going to be hosting a pitch competition. It's going to be awesome and amazing. And the winner will receive one-on-one and small group coaching from business experts. You know what? I'm going to drop that link in the chat as well. You know, we got to make sure everybody knows everything that's going on. But it's a really great opportunity for if you are in business or you want to be in business. We'll talk about putting your idea together. Oh, actually, it makes a perfect sense. If that's you, you might want to stop by the workshop tomorrow to get an opportunity to know a little bit more about business planning. So go to our Facebook page under events. That's BlackUSA.News Facebook page, and look under events, and you'll see the advertisement for the pitch competition. Sorry, I'm distracted because I'm excited to get through the stuff, and not just get through, because I want to introduce you to this brother Jabari. So I'm gonna tone down my excitement. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tone it down a little bit, and then I'm gonna bring it back to you. Okay. Want to talk about what we are doing at BlackUSA.News. Want to give a shout out to Michael Haney yesterday. His show took us on a retrospective of the year, from the Derek Chauvin trial verdict to work that has been done and needs to be done in Black cities to support their growth and development. So big shout out to Michael. Make sure you all check him out on Sundays. Tonight, 7 p.m., Dave, Quita, and Dason will come to you from Shared Space, same place you're watching us now, YouTube and Facebook. They'll be there. And that's, again, 7 p.m. tonight, Monday. And a shout out to Terra Cafe in Baltimore. Terrence and his crew, they do a wonderful job, and they are really active and engaged in the community. Also, shout out to University of Maryland Eastern Shore Baltimore alumni president Keisha Wallace, who will be joining us soon to talk about all things HBCU, and also to talk about genuine civic and social engagement. All right, so that's the housekeeping stuff, making sure that you all know what's going on in the community. I have the privilege of bringing to you guys a gentleman. His name is Jabari Natur. I've had an opportunity to work with him since the early 2000s. You get a certain age, you start measuring stuff in decades. When I first started working with him, I was impressed that he was not just taking a stand on certain issues, but being very vocal about it. And I was like, okay, that's real cool to watch a brother, being very vocal. But then I started noticing that he was able to organize and bring people together and actually help them focus on taking it to the next level. This dude has brought the likes of Dick Gregory to Baltimore, and not in a large venue, but brought him to the community. Brought him to the neighborhood so he can actually talk to people. In addition to that, he has been in music production. He's been in videography. He's kind of like a jack of all trades. And be careful, because a lot of people think that the saying goes, the jack of all trades, the master of none. But it also, if you continue reading, it also talks about how being a jack of all trades is actually better than being a master of one. So don't get it twisted. I work with people that do a whole bunch of things, multiply talented. And the interesting part is that we're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about Kwanzaa and the impact that it has on Black culture and Black life. And we were specifically going to talk about the Kujichagulia event that he had planned for today. But COVID is a real thing. The number of people that have started to become sick and report sick, that is problematic, and they decided to cancel the event, which is still self-determination in my eyes. So we're going to talk about Kujichagulia and its implications and its import to Black people, and also talk about what he's done. He's also done some really great things when it comes to expanding access to employment opportunities and workforce development. So we're going to have a great conversation with him. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Jabari Natur. Hey, sir.
Hey, peace. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, sir. Yes, I can. You hear me?
Okay. Yeah, good. I can hear you. Definitely. Good morning.
Good business, sir. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. I overslept and jumped out the bed and said, "Wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing this interview." So I had to run and jump and try to set everything up this morning. Stayed up binge watching on cable and Netflix.
I know. Some of these mornings, the alarm goes off a few more times, and I'm not as prepared as I would like to be. So I absolutely understand that. I appreciate you keeping it real.
Oh, no problem. no doubt.
So tell me a little bit. So we're gonna do something. We're gonna talk a little bit about the event that you were going to have, and talk about why Kujichagulia is important. But we're also going to pivot a little bit, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that you've done in the community, especially when it comes to expanding access to barbers, to individuals or young people who want to become. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, you don't just work with young people, right?
No. People
Okay,
also.
okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, older us, more seasoned community members. There you go. More seasoned community members.
Right.
So let's start off with the Coogee Chocolate event. Tell me what was going to happen today.
Well, we normally would do an event every year for Kwanzaa,
Mm-hmm.
but I wasn't going to do one this year actually. But what
Mm-hmm.
happened was one of our elders passed away. A guy, a good brother by the name of Baba Tunji.
Oh
Um,
yeah, right.
yeah. So when he passed away, he's like a legend so far as the community is concerned, and so far as the
Mm-hmm.
movement is concerned. When I first started, when I was 19 years old, when I came in, I was going to his events. I was going out to his events, and so he was like a person that I followed. So and I wind up doing events with him. Man, we did the first Nat Turner tour, field trip together.
Mm-hmm.
We did Kwanzaa events together. We did a couple
Mm-hmm.
different events together, but it was me always showing respect to the elder. So
Absolutely.
when I found out that he passed away, I got with some of the brothers, and I said, "Well, brothers and sisters," I'm like, "Look, we got to do something special for Baba Tunji." And me and Baba Tunji had just did an event right before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
in December, and it was a tribute to our fallen soldiers. So it was like, what I mean, because
Mm.
what had happened to him, like, okay, I gotta do, we gotta do something around Kwanzaa. So we started
Right.
working on the event, and we was actually going to really do a pretty big event, that we were actually
Right.
working
Yeah, I
on.
saw it. Yeah.
We started working on. So and we normally, when we do Kwanzaa, we normally get quite a few people to come
Yeah,
out.
I know you do.
Yeah, so the thing is, we started doing it, and then me and the brothers sat down, and we was like, man, look, with this COVID, because my sister caught it, my nephew caught it. It was like people all around that started catching COVID, and then from all our camps, everybody was catching,
Yeah.
getting sick. So he's like, man, should we even do this? Because if we, put these resources behind it, are people gonna come out the way that we want them to come out?
Right.
And so we made it. So we just made a decision and said, you know what, we still gonna do it. We're gonna do Kwanzaa. You can do Kwanzaa really anytime. So we said,
Absolutely.
let's see what happens like February sometime. You know what I'm saying, and see if everything dies down, and see maybe if we could do it in February. We still gonna do it because
Absolutely. And,
because Baba Tunji is a person that I really look up to, and I want to show
and
respect
not just
and
you,
honor to.
like a lot of the people in the community really had, followed his work, and a lot of, you're right, a lot of the work that he laid down was the work that other people have been following to really help empower the community, because that was
Yeah,
genuine. It
yeah,
wasn't just
yeah,
about like let's do some check marks there, some photo ops or whatever.
yeah.
And one of the things I want to say to you is that I appreciate the fact that you always you always keep it authentically in the community. It's never, again, just like Bob, you're never about that photo op, like, oh, let's just do something so we can look
Right,
good. It's like, I've always respected the fact that it's always about who is going to benefit after we finish this.
right, right.
Yeah. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the importance of that of Kwanzaa in African American life, because there are a lot of people who were hoing this weekend, but for the rest of this week they're going to be a little bit too busy to celebrate Kwanzaa. I mean, and again, that's just that is the reality that we live in. But there's a space. No matter what you believe, there's a space for Kwanzaa. Let's tell me a little bit about that.
Well, in my early days, I come under the great teachings of my teacher. One of my teachers, Ashaka Musa Barashango, and
Okay.
Dr. Ashaka Musa Barashango wrote a book called "African People and European Holidays: A Mental Genocide." And
Oh,
so I come under that teaching, and so it's hard for me to get into the jingle bell and all of that stuff. I mean,
got you. Okay.
even though I understand family. I've been there. I've been to the family house, and I know the feeling that you
Hmm.
get from being around family and all those different things. So, but we took a stance, and for over 26 years, I hadn't celebrated Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And those
Okay.
different things. Now, that's not to say people can't celebrate Christmas and do Kwanzaa, because a lot of people do. They'll do it because their family still does it. You know what I'm saying? And their family still come together and they still want to do certain things and all. But we looking at the financial component of it. You know what I mean? Going out spending countless thousands of dollars and doing that. You know what I'm saying? Instead of maybe possibly investing into some type of business or some type of fund or something. And I still like even around this time. I still will buy my children, you know what I'm saying? Like I'll get them something, you know what I'm saying? Like little stuff, you know what I mean? And for Kwanzaa, you're not supposed to buy gifts for Kwanzaa, you know what I'm saying? However, you know what I'm saying? Because it's around the season, so they won't feel, you know what I mean? So what we always strive to do at our organization, we said, well, look, if we don't do Christmas, we got to make a banging Kwanzaa, you know? So we would do Kwanzaa like every day, like, you know, every day and festive and out there and having fun because we didn't want our children to feel like they was just not having anything and they was just laying low. And just, you know what I mean? And they be, you know what I mean? Well, okay, we do Christmas because everybody else is doing Christmas, you know. So
they have something special of their own.
Exactly, they had something special of their own.
And instead of turning it into the thing you do because we have to, you add that same kind of cheery kind of feel to Kwanzaa. Because actually, that's a really great point, bro. Because a lot of times when people, especially when people first started talking to me about Kwanzaa, it was a real militant, like I needed to be ready to get up in the morning with like hatchets and take over the world. And I was like, I just want to celebrate. Like I just want to, but as people started educating me, like it really was about celebration, not about like let's fight back. So I appreciate that you all have built that in to what you do.
It was just I mean, you know, I mean, all of the principles of Kwanzaa, everything that we need to clean our community up. We talk about the killings in the community. We talk about the disunity and how families not getting along. You know what I'm saying? So all those principles is all that we need. When you deal with Christmas, the only principle is about you give me a gift, I give you a gift. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? You give me something.
Wait. So because I must just say you are right in much of the extent of what Christmas is and has become. But I know that there are still people who are trying to put forth that a more genuine feel. You know, the whole idea of Christ's birthday in this holiday season, like to your point about the inconsistencies of the holidays, absolutely. Like nothing about the way that Christmas gets celebrated right now is even tangentially. It's only is at the basic tangentially related to the actual story of Christ's birth. So yeah, but I do appreciate the people who try to keep it anchored in something positive and not just because you are absolutely right about the toxic gift giving. Like to watch somebody like get mad at somebody for spending money on them. Like I'm like, yo, dog, I can't. Like this is all you got me. Like I'm sorry, gift.
Because I got you a car, and you gonna get me. You know what I'm saying? You gonna get me a computer that costs $200. You know, but you're right. There is people that do around the time because they got the spirit. They do go out and they give away food. They do stuff. You know what I mean? Do certain things. And I understand. I mean, like I said, and I understand the spirit. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? Like when you and I'm not doing this thing of a comparison of quality. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like you know what I mean? But I'm just dealing with actual truths of the origins of Christmas and you know, and then the origins of Kwanzaa. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, basically. You know what I mean? So
honestly, that's the part I'm upset they don't go back to, but that's a separate
issue. Yeah. So we just think that you know, Kwanzaa is something that our people can use and we can fix the ills and heal the community, you know. And so that's so that's why we've always been big on Kwanzaa. It wasn't just about it was about the community in general, but it was like about our children at the same time. It was like we got to make this big for the children, you know.
Absolutely, that's wonderful.
So so I don't know, because I don't hear anything playing in the background, but I don't know if you could play a video on here or if you're not playing anything that's that could but have you ever seen our Kwanzaa song that we did?
No, I never saw the Kwanzaa song.
Yeah, so we did a Kwanzaa song about maybe 10 years ago with my daughters.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you meant recently. Yeah. No. So actually, if tomorrow's show is about getting money, and one of the things that I enjoy talking to you. So let's talk about let's talk after the show about you being another guest tomorrow to talk about how you because that's one of the other parts we're gonna talk about a little bit today, is about how you've been building businesses since I've known you.
Right.
And the interesting part for me is always that you don't just do it on your account. Like, you are more than happy to jump in with other people if they have ideas, especially if they're trying to build in the community. And so, this might actually spill into the getting money stuff, but real talk, like, tell us about some of the projects that you've been working on, some of your best projects, the ones you've had the most fun with.
I have fun with them all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's been a financial struggle. Sometimes it doesn't make it so much fun. But
Gotcha.
I've always been a person who, when I'm motivated by something, I just do it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, boom, that make it look like it makes sense. You know what? Let me go do it. Let me go try it.
Okay.
And I do it. And I put my feet down. And I do my very first business. When leaving everyone's place, I used to work at everyone's place. That's where I got a lot of my culture. Yeah, shout out. And my very first business after that was a traveling bookstore. So I would take my books and I would go into hair salons and I would sell my books. You know what I mean? And we have actually even got a special little cart made with wheels on it. And we would go in and like, hey, how you doing? I'm Jabari from but that time it was called Conscious Views. And we would go in and we would go open up our book cart, and people would look at it, you know what I'm saying, and we would talk to them, and then that was the first
2000. This was like 2009, right? 2005?
No. This was 2000, this was about 1998, 1999.
So this was back then?
Yeah. This was early.
By the time we hooked up, you would open up the bookstore already.
Yeah, that was at the location, but this was before we even had a location. Yeah.
So you were mobile before mobile was a thing.
I was mobile, way back in the day. So we started that in 1998. And and we would go in to all the salons, and we would go in there, and and me and brother Sunyata at the time, I taught him, and he would come in, and and then we would go out early Saturday morning, and we would go some Friday, go around to the different salons, and people love when we come in. Oh, how you doing? It's the book man, and wow, that's what they was calling me, the book man. You know what I mean? Hey, the book man is here. So that's how we started. And then once I through everyone's place, I met a guy, and I was already cutting hair, and he was a master barber. And so I approached him one day and said, hey, you think I can come under you as an apprenticeship? And so I started my apprenticeship under this guy. So
what's his name?
Mr. Leon.
Mr. Leon, because you know how we do it. This is part of the African tradition. We give props to ancestors and people who put us on.
He's still living too. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, so we're gonna give him we gonna mention we say his name because he did good work.
No doubt. And I really appreciate. I mean, because it was, like I said, at everyone's place, it was that cultural hub, and he would come in. And I said, next time he comes in here, I'm gonna ask him if he could do an apprenticeship with me. And so I did, because I realized I didn't have any skill. I could cut hair a little bit. I mean, I could cut to some degree, but I was like, I'm gonna ask him because I need a skill. I need something else that I need to add on, to what I'm doing. So sure enough, I asked him, and he said, yeah. So I started, my first place I started working was on Charles Street, and this was this was maybe 1999. Okay. So I started working there. It was called True Cuts on Charles Street, and I started there. And from there, I was cutting hair, and then I would still do my traveling bookstore on wheels. I still did that. And so from there, I guess like 2000, about 2000, that's when I opened up my shop on 25th Street. And there it was like, now I'm going to combine the bookstore and I'm going to combine the barbershop together. Because while people got to wait to get their haircut, they can go down to the bookstore, they can get some stuff. That was the whole theme of everything.
And vice versa. When they come to the bookstore, it's like, yo, you know what? There's a barbershop right upstairs. You look like you might need a little
Yeah. And so we still kept the traveling bookstore going for a little while after that. So that's how we transitioned. But from there, it's just been a million businesses, and even the owner of everyone's place, Brother Natur, who I give props to, because that's one of my big people that I look up to, man. I mean, I would look out for that brother no matter what. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, you know what I'm saying, to make sure.
Especially because of what he's been doing in the community. I mean, he has always been somebody who gives gives. There's nothing you can say about that. He just gives. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
And has been, because there was a period of time where it wasn't even a lot of Black support for everyone.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And you know, I remember people asking like, well, is it even necessary? We got this because now Black people have more books coming through mainstream bookstores. So are these even necessary? And he was like, there's a difference between being, I remember him saying, I can't remember the words he used, but it was basically, it's a difference between going someplace and buying a Black book and understanding the context that that book was created in.
Right. 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 Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
like going to Barnes and Noble, it's just like you read the back of it, you see the
Yeah.
price, you move
Yeah.
out. But going to a place like Everyone's Place, where it's not just he read it, like, you know, it's like it wasn't,
Right.
you know, and understood the cultural context and the
Right.
significance, its future significance. So yeah, like that's the type of stuff that transforms our community. That those
Yeah.
are the old way, the ways of old, where you go and sit down in front of grandpa at his feet and just
Yeah.
listen to what he has to say.
Before I started working at Everyone's Place, I used to go there all the time, and it was like a rejuvenation thing for me, because when I was young, I was very fiery, and you know what I'm saying, and so
Did you
I would
say
take.
word? Did you say word? Did you
I
say
was
word?
fire.
Did you try to make that sound like it's past this, bro? Or because I'll call you out right
uh, I'm still fiery, but not like I was when I was young. Not when I was young.
Okay.
I wanted to debate everybody. You know what I'm saying? Back in them days, it's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
what you mean? You know, like, you ain't know Black people did this. And then when I started getting to quite a few debates, then I would have to go back to Everyone's Place to restock and re-up and you know, man, get my cultural center back and everything. But it's funny though, because I just talked to Brother Natur actually about 2 weeks ago, and he tell me this every time. You know what I'm saying? He like, you know, basically, Jabari, you the number one hustler in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you are the number one hustler, like, from anybody that I know. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I told him, I said, man, you partly responsible for making me like this, though. You know,
Right.
you know, because, you know what I mean, many of the different conversations that we had, but it's just always been in my blood, you know, that I was just gonna make something happen. I'm gonna make a way out of no way when it just seemed like it can't be done. Like, I'm going, like, I'm that person. I always tell people in the shop, you know what I mean, with the football analogy, you know what I'm saying, I'm like the Ravens, you know what I'm saying, like, it's like, you know, like I'm gonna get, you know, we what is it,
Ugly
fourth,
wins.
I know it's the 4th and 37, I'm gonna go for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go for it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we're gonna get there, and then, like you said, you know what I mean, and then it's like, boom, we kick the field goal. You know what I'm saying? Like, we go, you know, so it's like,
you do pull it out, bro.
I'm that person. I'm that person that's, you know what I mean, that
I'll
goes,
give
you
you
know.
that, because like there have been some stuff that you've been trying to do. I'm like, I don't see a way, and it's like, but
Right.
you're comfortable and you make it happen, dude. Like that's a really really big deal, especially because you've cut across so many different industries. Like
Right.
you're talking health and right now, even just this conversation, we're talking health and beauty, but we're
Right.
also talking media, we're talking retail, we're talking you know, these types of personal services, we're talking about the mobile field. And before we talked a little bit about your work with your daughters and their music career. So that's like entertainment. So how
Right.
do you prepare? Like, what gets you to go from thing to thing to thing? Like that idea. Like, how do you drive that? And because I know for me, like I think I used to do that, but then I found business, and it was like,
Right.
oh, no, I'm staying here. This is where I'm. No. But
Yeah.
you still, it's like you still energized by doing all of these different things. How do you, is that part of your like your natural curiosity and learning, or how does
I
that
think
work?
it's my natural curiosity of learning, and it's just like, I'm that person that used to watch the kung fu movies, and I'd be running around doing karate all day long because I was motivated, you know, like,
Right.
all day, like I'm training to get myself together, you know what I mean? Because I would be so inspired, and I'm
Mhm.
inspired easily by different things. If I see something, I hear
Okay.
something, I hear a story, I'm inspired. I'm like, oh, we about to do this, we about to make this
Mhm.
happen, you know. When I first started with music, I mean, that happened inside the shop. You know what I mean? It was like we were watching in the shop one day, and we put
Mhm.
BET on. We didn't normally put BET on, and every now and
Mhm.
again we would put it on, and we saw just a lot of the stuff that we looked at as like just so unproductive in our community. We was like, you know
Mhm.
what? We could do an album, and we could do it. You know what I'm saying? And make it. You know what I mean? It was just like, once we said it, there was a guy across from us, like, man, I do beats. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay, we'll bring something through, and he started bringing beats through, and it was like just the perfect matchup. and we started getting him. I started getting him to do different beats and all. So then we did an album. First it was me and Sunyata, and then there was another brother from the shop that had joined on, you know what I'm saying? And the album was called Conscious Heads, you know what I mean, during the time. Now we weren't claiming to be no show, you know what I mean, like hardcore hip hop thing. The whole premise was that we're gonna show you that, you know, like we could do something positive and we could do an album. And we sure enough did it. And that was my first work in so far as the music industry. But you know, back in the day, I was always into music because I used to DJ when I was in like the all through high school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
what high school? Shout out high school.
Patterson High School.
All right. Shout out Patterson High School.
Patterson. You know, so I used to DJ, and I was really into getting into my DJ career. You know, and stepping things up. So all through high school, that was my love and passion. So I left it there because my mom gave me a car when I was in the 11th, like the end of the 11th grade. And so I had to pay for the car. And so my turntables and all that stuff went down the drain. And I was just really into the car and the girls and all that stuff around that time. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of left it. So I left it alone. So that was my first intro into music. But when I did the Conscious Heads album, I guess that gave me a re-emerging of that, you know, that thing. So then after that, I had my young people in my group, and we did another album with young people that was in their teenagers called Sons of Nat, which I basically helped produce the whole album and, you know what I mean, put that whole project together. Because I now started to find my, you know, so I can do hooks and I can, you know what I mean, come up with certain things and all. And then my organization had a whole crazy thing that happened, and we kind of like we broke up and we kind of fell apart. And I was like, you know what? Me and my daughters used to sing songs and do stuff all the time. I said, you know what? I'm gonna invest everything I got into my daughters. Forget everybody else. Forget all this. That I'm gonna put all my time into them. And that's how that whole thing came up. You know what I'm saying? So I started writing little songs for them and doing little songs and doing little things. And I was like, you know what? I think it's gonna work out. So we did the song that went viral all through the internet. You know what I mean?
I remember
I had no clue that it was gonna go viral. I mean, it was just something that I just like, I wonder if I approached this like this.
Well, tell the audience. I mean, I know what you're talking about. They don't know what you're talking about. Come tell about it, bro.
The song was called "Letter to Lil Wayne," and so a letter to Mr. Wayne. Actually, it was called. So we had done a song. Our first song was called "I Won't Quit," and it's crazy because that song is like a affirmation. It's like a song that I wrote when I was going through all those different things, and you know what I mean. I actually was getting ready to go through divorce. My organization was breaking up. I was losing my business. It was like a whole bunch of stuff. My daughters have found a song. I don't know where they found this beat at on the internet. They was like, "Oh, Daddy, can you write something to this song?" And they gave me the beat. And I don't know where they got it from. And I listened to that. I was like, "Dang, I like this." You know what I'm saying? And so I wrote that song for that song to be able to last forever for me and my daughters. When I'm gone from here, they'll be able to go to "I Won't Quit." You know what I'm saying? So it was like, you can throw salt in my eyes, I won't quit. All the pain in my life, I won't quit. I'm gonna try till I die, I won't quit. You know what I'm saying? So the whole song was like that thing. There we got about 6,000 hits, and then from there I started writing songs. And so I was like, well, you know, disrespect for women in the industry and disrespect for people. I said, let me try to write a song, you know what I'm saying, and make this, because I knew that it had to be something that was shocking, all kind of sort of, in order for us to do some things. So it was like, let me try this approach. So what I did was, you know, I started writing this letter. It was like a nice aspect. It wasn't disrespectful. It was like, hey, Mr. Wayne, hey, you know what I mean? Like, why do you disrespect women? Why do you do such and such and such? So next, because we had gotten like 6,000 hits on "I Won't Quit," I was like, man, we're going to kill them this time. We're going to get 10,000 hits. And I was telling everybody, we're going to get 10,000. It's going to be big. It's going to be huge. And that was huge. And I released that joint out. And man, it was like in 3 days. My producer called me. I remember I was asleep in the bed. And he called me up. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. He said, man, get up. He said, man, I don't know if you know, this thing is all over every major website. It's over, you know what I'm saying? He said, man, it's got like 600,000 views right now. So on World Star Hip Hop, it's on this and on that. And I woke up, I'm like, what the hell? Like, I didn't even know. I didn't have a clue. Like, I didn't even know that this was going to do that. But it did, you know what I'm saying? It just took off. And I was like, man, it was a whole nother level and feeling because at some point I thought like, damn, I made it. But we wasn't ready because my daughters,
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we wasn't ready for that because my daughters they was young. I mean, the oldest one at the time was 10 years old, and my youngest was 5. So we hadn't been doing any practice, and we were just going to the studio. And the way we did the video, it was just like a guy was there. He was practicing on a camera, and he was like, "Man, I'll shoot a video for you." I was like, "All right, cool. Let's do it next week." And we just kind of just shot a video. It wasn't nothing that we really like playing real hard,
Right.
So it's crazy.
It just came about.
It just came about. You know what I mean? So then after that, we would go on for a few years and get. And it took them a while before they could really perform because for a while it was stiff. It was like we were just getting into it. And by the end, before they stopped, by the end, they was killing stages. Like they was going up. You know what I mean? And people didn't even want to go behind them because I had them at a certain level. Wow. But I can remember while building there, we had many flops. We had many flops when we went to different shows, and it was like, oh man, we flopped. Maybe this ain't what we supposed to be doing. And I kept adding on and doing certain things, and it was a pleasure when you go and you rock that show, you turn that stage down, and people are like, oh my god, you know what I mean? And so it was a blessing, you know what I mean, doing it with them. And we ain't quite like my youngest during that time. She's 16 now, so she still sings. She still do singing lessons and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I never throw away my projects. I just kind of like table them for a minute. Yeah, I shelf them for a minute. You know what I mean? And and then from there, from the Watoto from the Now, we noticed that of course everybody always talk about pills and smoking and doing all those different things. So we said, all right. I was doing my health thing real heavy at the time. So we said, all right, I'm gonna create a product for us. So that's what I did. The Watoto from the Now kale chips. You know what I mean? Everybody's talking about the green, and we like, oh yeah, we got the green. You know what I mean? It's all healthy kale chips. So we started a kale chip business in the midst of Watoto from the Now. We got our kale chips into 9 different stores throughout Baltimore.
That too.
I mean, so they were all natural, 100% natural, and people loved them. People love the kale chips. So it's like one thing always led to another. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, boom, now we're gonna do that. Oh, okay, now we're gonna do this. Now we're gonna add that on.
So how do you know when? Because one of the things that you've talked about several times today is how you've been able to kind of transition one thing to another, and just keep building on. How do you know when it's time to move on to a next project, or when it's time to give a project up, or when it's time, like, let's just keep digging in? Because, I know a lot of people who tried music, and, I remember we used to talk about some of the flop shows before. And, the people, and remember back then I used to work with a lot of artists, and there were some who had shows that weren't as bad. It was just like, oh, this ain't for me, blah, blah, blah. Not only were you able to keep yourself motivated and engaged when you had some challenges and stuff like that, but you were also able to keep your girls motivated. And like kids that age, sometimes they don't stay motivated, like especially at the little bit of adversity. It's like, okay, you know what? Fine. I don't even want to do this. It's too hard. This is stupid. Why are you always making me go out here? I hate this. And I don't remember you ever having that. How do you keep everybody like focused and motivated and engaged?
I don't know what to tell you because
I appreciate the honesty,
because I'm gonna tell you what I was going through. I was going through a divorce at the time.
Right.
So for my children, when they was with me, they was Watoto from the Now. When they was with mom, they wasn't Watoto from the Now. You know what I mean? Like at the time, our energy was clashing so much that she never embraced Watoto from the Now. The mother didn't. And seemingly, if I had gotten their mom to embrace it all the way, it would have went way larger than where it went. You know what I'm saying? But it was like there was friction in between. Right. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of friction going on because, at that time, man, I'm be honest with you, like I was she had already moved out, but I was putting up my BG&E money. I was putting up my water money, water bill money. I was like, I'm putting everything in. I'm going all in. I don't care what it is, but I'm putting everything into this project. And so it wasn't easy, and it was hard to keep them motivated. So when they came around, I had to always be boot session. I always had to give that locker room speech every time they came. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we doing this, we doing that, because again, when they came back from their mother, they were just kind of like, all right, and like, hey, y'all want to do this thing right here? Y'all want to do this? And so it wasn't easy. It was tough. And then I
Okay.
started bringing on other girls, like some of the friends and different things. You know what I'm saying? Like to add
Okay,
on.
that's why I remember that part too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I started bringing on some other folks. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't tough. You know what I'm saying? And thank goodness for, you know what I'm saying? For me and that mom relationship to this day, where we're actually doing pretty good. But back then we was in the thick of it, and it was hard, and it was not easy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was like, how you got my daughters doing the show and Dick Gregory's involved, you know what I'm saying, and the thing, and you didn't tell me nothing about the show. It was like, it was a lot of stuff going on, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
really, at the end of the day, I wanted us to be able to come back together, you know what I mean, and make things happen and bring on board. But then when I like, okay, why don't you come on board? No, I don't want to work with you. I was like, okay. Well, you
But
know what I mean?
everything ain't for everybody, you know what I mean? And
Right,
everybody has to
exactly,
have
exactly.
have their role. And I remember, you telling me that no matter whatever happened with you all, you always knew that your girls was good with her. I might not
Yeah,
agree
oh,
on
no
how it
doubt.
was,
No
but
doubt.
that is. And my ex-wife, we co-parent amazingly well, and I know how important that is for the kids, because if you don't, like, now you got them having to choose sides,
Yeah.
having to try to figure out, like, actually, I have one friend, like, her kid's father is just really using her kid against her. Like, he
Wow.
he keeps going to custody hearings, and when I tell you, this dude has dropped at least 100 grand on lawyers just to mess with her. Like, and my friend's actually a good person. Like,
Wow.
everything she does, but she won't mess with him. So he's like, you evil, whatever, whatever. And, and then just makes, like, when I tell you, like, that's, we gonna have to talk about custody another time, like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's a really big issue, especially in a place like Maryland where there are formulas in place, but people don't
Yeah.
understand what happens. And like, I know we're talking about child rearing and relationships, but even things like, you have a lot of brothers who go to jail and may have been paying their child support obligations up to that point, and when they go to jail, they don't realize they could petition the court to pause their obligation. And what
Right.
ends up happening, you in jail for, even because there's a lot of brothers who end up in jail for 3 months while they're waiting for their trial. So let's
Right.
right. So that's a separate issue we're gonna
Yeah.
talk about later.
Yeah.
But but
Definitely.
but so you in jail for 3 months just waiting for trial. You come out, they don't press charges, and now you're 3 months behind in your child support.
Mm, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
And guess what? While you in 3 months, I don't think your job kept your position open.
Nah, no, not at all.
And so now you have to find a new job, and you already 3 months in the hole. Oh, four, because you still got to pay this month.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So, but that's
It's
also why having a co-parent who you all understand, even beyond your relationship, that like, for example, that's the mother of that's my kid's mom. Like, she is an integral part of them being okay.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
Okay, like,
And like you said, while we talk about, I know we taking a turn. You know what I mean? It was like, there was one point, and I've had my children, so I haven't been away from my children. It was always
oh
equally
yeah, yeah,
shared,
absolutely.
like, you know what I mean, like half of the week, because she worked, she drove a bus, so I had them half of the week, she had them half of the week, and then it came the time when my daughters got a little older. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
these teenagers, when they really started to play the system and they tried to get away from dad, you know what I mean? There was a couple of things that happened. So then, because we didn't have we had physical and legal custody of them, both of us did, and we didn't have a schedule nailed down. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
they would stay, you know what I mean? They would try to figure out a way to stay away, especially when they was in trouble, you know. And so I took
Yeah.
we went to court, and the crazy thing is, when we went to court, they made us go to counseling sessions and stuff.
Hmm.
And so the guy pulled me to the side. I said, because I was fighting for full custody. I was like, I want full custody. I want this. I want that. And the guy pulled me to the side. He said, man, he said, look, I don't think what you want is full custody. What you want is to get the schedule straight. You know what I mean? So that y'all can be cool. He said, because if you win this case, you don't win. You think that you're gonna get these girls and they're gonna come over there and do whatever you say after they feel like you took them from them.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I had to think about that. I was like, dang, he right. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if I win, do I think that at that point they're gonna be like, oh, daddy, yeah, we're gonna go along with everything. You know what I mean? It's gonna be like you're gonna be met with maximum,
It's
attitude
because
and
you're the bad guy now.
yeah, exactly. You the bad guy.
You
So
tearing our family up.
yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So I had to think about that. But like I said, thankfully, you know what I'm saying?
Wait. Do you remember this dude's name? Because again, we shout out people who do good shit.
I do not remember that guy's name. But
Okay.
it was funny because all through that whole process, I met a lot of good people, and some people I don't remember their names. And I can remember when they made us go to the first therapy session, it was a whole bunch of broke up couples, broken couples, like marriage. It was probably about 10 couples in a room, and everybody was coming in, and so everybody was in there. It was a man and a woman, you know what I'm saying? And nobody wasn't speaking. I can remember the guy said when we walked in, he said, okay, I know it's tight in here right now, and I know that the way that y'all feeling towards each other. He said, but don't forget that y'all made babies together. Y'all did this, y'all did that. And he broke the thing, and everybody started laughing. He said, so y'all can loosen up a little bit in here today. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody was looking at that mate like, hate you, I can't stand you. Oh boy, there she is, and he broke the mold, so the whole process was actually a good process, which led to even me and my ex-wife even healing down the line, because I was in child support for a while, and then and then my ex-wife actually got with me after a while and was like, hey, look, you don't need to pay child support. You're already doing what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? Let's go down there and take, and get you off of there. You know what I'm saying? So she actually did that because I was doing a lot for my children already. You know what I mean? But when we was in the thick of the battle, it was like anything kind of went. You know what I'm saying? And I guess you talk about it another time, because I was getting ready to hit into even the guy who did the thing with the ex-wife and then the girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Lately in the news. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Peachtree County and Prince George County, Maryland.
Yeah. And I was just like, you know what I'm saying? And I was talking to a brother. We was talking yesterday, and I was like, man, like, I understand the feeling of, you know what I'm saying, like feeling, you know what I'm saying, like angry and mad and all of that kind of stuff, because you get those emotions and stuff. I said, but man, I wish he had somebody to talk to. I wish I could have talked to him, like, brother, you cannot do this like this.
Let's explain.
You're not making any points. You know what I'm saying? And all you did was, you know what I'm saying, you left these children by themselves. I don't know, you know what I mean? So far as insurance policies concerned, I don't even know if they can get insurance from you because you killed yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now they gotta go stay. Now you gotta go stay. They have to go stay with a grandmother or somebody. Who they gonna stay with now? You know what I'm saying? And then you done mess their life up for the next 20 years. They devastated.
Watch this. They're going to probably end up staying with somebody who you murdered their relative.
Right.
Like so like all for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Grandma looks at you as like, oh, my baby whose father murdered my daughter. Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. Exactly. So it's like, man, I was like, man, I wish I could have talked to this brother. You know what I'm saying? Because I know he flipped and he had different things, but you got to fight that out, man. You got to fight hard, and you got to fight in the courts. You got to do, you know what I mean? Whatever you need to do, but you can't get there to that point,
But that's what happens, and I know this. The cool part about this being my show is that I could change topics in the middle, and I've decided that I like this conversation more.
Right.
But that's one of the big things about it is like when you get these stories in your head, the mental health parts of it, your social support network, and honestly, don't get it twisted. We talk about him having somebody to talk to. We don't know that he didn't. Because I had a friend of mine, she and her child's father was in a situation similar to yours, where he had gotten himself in. Well, his thing gotten together. He got himself together well, and they were going down to take him off child support.
Right.
And so as they were down there, they finished up and they were getting ready to go grab something to eat. And he bumped into a friend of his. He's like, "Oh, what's up, dude?" Da, da, da. He's like, "Oh, this is my baby mama." He was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. He's like, "Oh, we just coming back from child support." Everything in this dude's face was that bitch, and like she's standing right there, and it was one of those things. It was just visceral. Right. It was because, and those kind of things. So, who knows what he would have said about her if she wasn't there.
Yeah, exactly.
and a lot of times what we don't realize is that a lot of our people are talking to us through their toxicity. Exactly. Like they're in the thick of it and they really do believe they're helping. They really do. Go. You need to stand up for yourself, because I wish I had done that if I had and now they got you caught up in the stories in their head.
Right. Exactly. Yep, you right about that. I'm sorry I swerved the topic. You was
Oh no,
talking
no,
about, yeah,
but dude, that's one of the
yeah,
things that we do here, because what we realize is that these are the way conversations in the Black community need to happen.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
if
yeah.
you we try sometimes to constrain the conversation to just this topic, and when we do
Right.
that, we miss an opportunity. I mean, I think this was a very meaningful conversation.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
actually, really brought out some things. So yeah,
Right.
I throw the agenda out the damn window.
Yeah, because I just wanted to explain what was going on when the
Right.
different parts of my life, when I did these different businesses and different things, and kept things going, during that time. So it wasn't easy. A lot of it came through conflict. A lot of it came through things that, and me, I'm stubborn. Like, it's like, you're not gonna stop me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Okay.
care who you are, you're not gonna stop me. We're gonna keep it going, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
even with the shops and all of that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
like,
Mhm.
after like a big breakup, even with me and the barbers from one time, and I was heading towards retirement and I had to come back in and do things, I still lasted
Mhm.
for like another 7 years, but it was tough because it was just like I was just doing whatever. But end of the day, it was like, y'all not gonna break me. You ain't gonna
Right.
break me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna keep on going, and
Mhm.
and some of it ego, some of it, but I mean, you learn a lot. I mean, I've
Yeah.
learned a lot through the years. You know what I'm saying? And there's some fights that I wouldn't have fought as hard if I could go back and do it again. There's some things I'd be like, you know what? All right, chill.
Just not gonna
Like,
do it.
even with my ex-wife, like, I would have pulled back, you know what I'm saying, the way that I fought her on certain levels, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because all I did was get her riled up, and then it was like, oh, you want to fight? You want to fight? You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So, So, some of that stuff you know what I mean? But all in all, through all of the business stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's been trial, error. It's been beautiful. I wouldn't replace any of it, because I learned a lot of lessons from all my mistakes and those
Mhm.
different
Mhm.
things. And I'm hoping that on the other side of 21 was a great year.
Mhm.
Even 20, you know what I'm saying? I know, with due COVID, it went crazy for a minute. We was confused. We didn't know what to do and
Right.
how to
Absolutely.
do it.
Everybody was.
But we was figuring out a way, we was selling masks, we was doing all kinds, I'm a hustler, so you know what I mean. So we got to figure it out. And I know my queen of the day, and she was just like, "Why everything you do, you think about selling money? I mean, you think about making money?" I was like, what you want me to do? You want me to sit here and ask you for money? You know what I mean? Because hey, because because my queen, she was already working from home. She was already doing well.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So
Mhm.
thinking about getting money wasn't nothing she had to do. She was fine when the COVID hit. Me, it was like, oh, I ain't getting no booth rent. I ain't cutting hair. I ain't doing this. I got to figure this out. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
Everything you do, you think about is making money. I was like, how am I gonna get money? You know what I mean? Like, I had a little bit of money in the bank, but it was like, nah, that's gonna be gone possibly. You know what I'm saying? In a little while. You know what I'm saying? I gotta
We
figure
don't
out.
know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So, mask, gloves, whatever I can get my hands on, how can I get out, you know what I'm saying, and make some things happen? So, some of it was by, I mean, a lot of my barbers. And matter of fact, that's when the major healing of me and the barbers that had left before me and Sunyata had
Mhm.
happened, because I trained him as a barber. You know what I mean? So at this point, he called me like, "Hey, what we gonna do now?" And I
Right.
was like, I don't really know. You know what I mean? But
Right.
and that caused us to be like, man, look, we need to get back together, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what happens from here, but we need to figure it out. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, you know what I mean? So from those different things, so that's how, these different businesses, and a lot of the different things came about. It was struggle, it was pain. Like I said, when I was going through divorce, there was some major people that passed away in my life. You know what I mean? All this stuff make you look at life different. When you
Right. Yeah.
I can't even explain. I can't explain to my daughters. I say, look, let me tell you something. One day I won't be here. I'm trying to tell you, this is going to affect you majorly in your life. I'm trying to set you up so that you'll be prepared for some of
Mhm.
this stuff as it happens. Because my father who passed away 4 years ago, and he didn't have a whole lot, but he took care of his business. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
At the end of the
Mhm.
day, we could take care of his funeral. He left us a couple dollars that we had left over and different
Mhm.
things. You know what I'm saying? Things that I respect. And to live through that, even that other half of you that made you, that's gone, people don't understand. They
Yeah.
don't understand, until you feel it and you see it, you're like, oh my God. Like, because your children see you, they like, man, he gonna be here every day. I ain't, man.
Yeah.
Daddy good, mommy good, they okay. Like I got plenty of time to heal this relationship and all the kind of stuff. They don't understand. If you ain't lost nobody like majorly in your life, you don't really understand that whole process and what that process can put on you. So death, struggle, all those different things make you who you are because you understand it a lot better,
And to your point, one of the things that when my dad died, one of the biggest things was my support system.
Yeah.
And a lot of people being okay with however I was emoting at the time.
Right.
There were times where I was cussing everybody out for no reason whatsoever.
Right.
And there was some times where it's like, please don't talk to me because I'm just going to break down and start crying. Like and to have groups of people who were okay, however you showed up, understanding what you're going through.
Yeah.
Like that was, especially because so many people don't.
Yeah.
Especially because so many people are like, oh, you should just, or you know what, you should do this. Why aren't you like this? I'm sorry. Tell me when my dad died in your life, you can tell me how I should act.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Great point.
So yeah, no, I appreciate it. And for me at least, I know these last couple of years, you talk about the healing of the relationship, looking back at, because my father used to annoy the hell out of me. Primarily because it was like, why don't you just try to be better? Like, like like, why do you have pants that have holes in them? Like, you could afford new jeans. Like, why would you want to look like that in public? And I was always concerned that he wasn't trying to look a status in public and stuff like that. And I thought it was a poor reflection. As I got older and I became a father, I started to understand things differently. And one of the things that I am so grateful for before he died that we were able to do is me understanding that it was just him.
Right.
Like, he was just who he was. He wasn't trying to be nothing. And I learned from him how important that is. Because when you spend all of your life trying to be what other people want you to be, you never get to love or learn yourself.
That's right.
That dude was the same dude. If you met him at the church, if you met him at a cookout, if you met him at work, he was going to be the same dude. And one of the things that makes me laugh now, I used to get on him about his clothes or whatever, especially this one pair of jeans used to annoy the hell out of me because he'd worn them for so long and kept his wallet in the same pocket for so long that it had a hole. When it had the outline where the wallet was, and then like a little hole, and you could see the bottom of the wallet. And I was like, yo, don't make any sense. And like a few weeks ago, I noticed that the jeans because in quarantine, you wear jeans outside, like, these are my outside jeans, wash. I realized that my favorite pair of jeans had a hole in the back pocket. And you know what? I had to sit down and just smile because, like, my dad, you know what I mean? Like, that's
See, my dad used to tell me all the time, and you know what I mean, and he wasn't into the movement, he wasn't into none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, he wasn't calling me Jabari. You know what I mean? It was hey Corey. You know what I'm saying? Hey dude, you know what I mean? It wasn't no, I'm not calling you no Jabari. I'm not buying into that Jabari thing. You know what I'm saying? But he told me one time, he said, man, we was gonna do something with a car. And he said, man, you need to work on your credit, man. And you know what I mean, get some stuff, you know what I mean? And I can remember responding to him saying, man, here you go with this crazy credit stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, Dad, I don't really need credit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like I got community credit. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, oh, you do.
Yeah, right. But you knew you was doing this stuff, right?
But you need me to sign for a car for you. They said, okay, I ain't gonna say nothing else to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like conversations like that, you know what I'm saying? That after a while, of course, you know what I mean? Like I needed that credit. You know what I'm saying? I needed those different things, And the thing is, in closing, I came back, like the house that I'm in now, like I came back. My father left me his car and the house. You know what I'm saying? So I came back to the place where I was conceived my mother and father bought this house together in 1974. And I was born in 1975. So I came back here COVID time. I wasn't even planning to do that, but because of COVID, the way things had went, I came back here into this house. You know what I'm saying? And now, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm upholding the throne per se. You know what I'm saying? I came in and I renovated. I did like stuff and I did stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I mean? It just fulfilled the dream. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? So I, you know, good feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because I did stuff. I did stuff that I know he wanted to do to the house. You know what I'm saying? And I, you know what I mean? I did those different things. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? And this year I had my you know, I had my first son, you know what I'm saying, like this year, you know what I'm saying, and you know, at 46, but you know, inside the address that where I live at, you know what I'm saying, my birthday's there, 5/12. I was born May 12th, and then my and also my son was born 5/21. You know what I'm saying? So both of,
that's
you know what I mean? Yeah, it gets deep. You know what I mean? So you know, I'm you know, I'm really happy about a lot of things, and you know what I mean, and coming back to the throne. I always tell people I came back here to be born again. You know, because you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Came back here to revamp myself and get myself back in order. So I came back to the hub where it all started at. Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you. We are out of time today. I'm going to hit you back up later today. See if you want to come on and talk about getting money, because I know you know how to do it. See if you are interested in talking to me tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, Jabari Natur, thank you very much, sir. I am grateful for you joining us today.
Thank you.
All right, man. Thanks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. Thank you to all of my people in internet land. Again, make sure that you log on tonight to Shared Space at 7 p.m. And look for us tomorrow morning, where we're going to be talking about get money from the Grinding Gang Studios in Baltimore, Maryland. Have a great day.